Dating a Democrat is impossible. I'm sorry. It's impossible. Okay, I'll stop now. It's a bit hyperbolic, but I got to tell you what. This WAMU story, dating a Democrat, how 2020's presidential election has altered romance in D.C., makes me not want to go anywhere near them. It's really weird. You know what? I've been on OkCupid, and I'm looking at, I swear, most of these women I see, they're communists. And I know you might be saying, Tim, you're being absurd. They're not communists. No, dude. No, I mean, I go to their profiles and the first thing I do is check the question where they say, communism in principle, good or bad? And overwhelmingly they say it's good. No, communism in practice and in principle is nightmarish and wrong. There's nothing good about the idea of communism. Listen, communism is, so let me put it this way. On the left and the right, laissez-faire capitalism is as far right as you go. That's bad. But capitalism itself expands upon the entirety of the spectrum from left to right. The furthest left you can go is communism. That's bad. You can have social democracy with capitalist systems. You can have balance. You can have mix. Those are all good things. So if you said social policy versus capitalist systems, those are both okay things. You just got to figure out how to do that regulation right. Make sure people aren't, selling poison to people. But laissez-faire, in my opinion, no. You're gonna get power monopolies. You're gonna get defective products, and we can argue all day and night. And caps, you're never gonna get me. Call me wrong in the comments. That's fine. Communists call me wrong too. Okay, but I think the extreme ends of the spectrum, absolute capitalism, absolute socialism. No. Full stop. Bad. But let's read this. Here's what I want to do. I want to read you some of these quotes first, and then go back to the start of the story. Here's an aside from Hannah. I haven't read this yet. A guy I was dating for over a year pretty much broke up with me to go work for the Beto O'Rourke campaign. I can't decide if it's funny or sad that I was dumped for a candidate consistently polling in the low single digits. Honey, you dodged a bullet. I gotta tell you what, man. If I was dating somebody and they announced that they were going to dump me because they wanted to go campaign for the Beto O'Rourke campaign, I would say, thank you. Thank you for doing this. You have spared me weeks or months or even years of torment. Thank you for letting me know that's what you wanted to do. But here's what it really comes down to. People saying, like, if you support Joe Biden, oh my God, that's an immediate swipe left. Look, they're not just now saying they won't date you unless you hate the president. They're saying you must support their specific candidate. They have lost their minds. Now, it's not all Democrats. Most Democrats are like regular people who don't pay attention. But these people, man, they're nuts. Check this out. Here's a quote. Let me just read you the story. Sam Rick says dating in D.C. was a little bit easier during the 2016 primary. There were basically two camps you belonged to as a liberal in the vastly blue city, Team Bernie or Team Hillary. But this campaign is different. A whopping 18 candidates are currently contending for the nomination. With so many choices, Rick says, it's surprising to me how dogmatic I am about my candidate and in seeking out partners that agree with me in this primary. Rick, 29, is firmly in Massachusetts Senator in Warren's camp. She supported Hillary during the 2016 campaign and says she was more than willing to date a supporter of Bernie Sanders back then. She concedes she'll occasionally go out with a Sanders supporter, but she says there's a reason the odds are slim. 9 times out of 10, it turns into a very big argument. I've been on dates where by the end of the night, it's completely ruined. I know where it's going to go. Best to just avoid it. If Warren and Sanders supporters can't even get together, what are you doing? I'll tell you something, man. I have hung out with and been on dates with women who are moderates, who are moderate slightly to the left, Gabbard supporters, and even, dare I say it, Trump supporters. And there's one thing about sane, regular people, be it a Trump supporter or Gabbard supporter or just somebody who's kind of unaffiliated, they don't care who I'm supporting. And so I'm talking to this Trump supporter chick, and I'm like, it's like a moderate center-right individual. And I was just like, I think for these reasons I like Gabbard. And her response was like, no, I get it. I understand. And that was about it. And like we played video games and it was pretty cool. Look at this. This is a Warren supporter who's like, you like Bernie? I can't even, what? You agree on basically everything. What do you disagree on? How are you arguing with each other? There was a study published by Axios showing that literally everything makes Democrats angry. Okay, man, you can go have your camp of angry people who are screeching and won't even be friends with the people they agree with. I'm going to go hang out with the people getting drunk, even though I disagree with them, we can still have a good time. You see how this works? Let's read on. Rick is upfront about what she's looking for on dating apps. Her Hinge profile says she's seeking a gregarious dork who's really into small things and passionate about them and is also voting for Elizabeth Warren. That's nuts, man. She describes how she views dating various supporters of other primary candidates by placing the candidates themselves on a spectrum. At one end are a variety of Republicans. And then a little step beyond that, you've got billionaire activist Tom Steyer. And then you've got the lower tier people like Tulsi Gabbard and Andrew Yang. Serena, a senior at the University of Maryland who grew up in Silver Spring and asked that we not use her last name for privacy reasons, agrees. She also prefers to date people with the same candidate preference, Warren. Dude, I gotta tell you what, man. I'm a fan of Gabbard. And if I was hanging out with someone and she was like, I don't like that, I'd be like, I don't want to date you either. Okay? Like, you're nuts. What's crazy to me is that a Bernie and a Warren supporter are basically the same thing as far as I'm concerned. But to each other, it's like a vast ocean of differences. I kid you not. The activists that I follow on Facebook and Twitter routinely rag on Warren. They are diehard Bernie and they will not vote for Warren. And I've said this. They view Warren as Hillary Clinton wearing a Bernie Sanders mask. Even this woman, she was a Hillary supporter. She's supporting Warren. You see exactly how it's played? Serena says she'd pause before going on dates with people who support other primary candidates like Gabbard and Buttigieg. I'm more wary of them, she says. It's not a total deal breaker, but it's a point against them. I got to be honest. I would date a Hillary Clinton supporter. I really don't care. But if you came to me as a Hillary supporter and said you don't like that I support my candidate and that it was a problem for you, then I'd be like, okay, then go away. I don't care who you're going to vote for. I really don't care. Like, I'm willing to go on dates with conservatives, moderates, liberals. And it's probably why I'm a moderate where I am, because I'm willing to hear out the other side and respect the humanity of an individual and recognize we're not always going to agree on everything. But these people live in this strange moral authoritarian world where they believe Republicans are literally evil, like vampires sent to destroy the world, a bunch of Nazis marching in the street. It's like, no, dude, it's just a country of regular people who disagree and view the world differently, and you got to get over that. Let's look at some of these quotes. Here's an aside from Paige. While on a date with a man she met online, we sat down for drinks, and after a few minutes of small talk, he said, I have to confess something, and you won't believe it. You may even stand up and walk out, but I'm a moderate. He expected me to be shocked. He thought I would make all these assumptions based on such a lackluster affiliation. It's so bizarre to be in this atmosphere where your political stance means so much and says so much about you. Good for you, Paige. that I like. But yes, he was. Dude, I gotta admit, man, I meet some people and I'm just like, oh man, I gotta be real careful about what I say because they're gonna flip. The left is nuts. I'm sorry, it's true, okay? Even Bill Maher talks about this. When you've lost Bill Maher, you've lost the plot. Because Bill Maher has always been one of the most unabashed liberals, where he says so many offensive things. Even he is now saying we got to tone things down. Things are getting out of control. Even he's saying you guys are losing it. Bill Maher's got the guy who pushed back on the Iraq War, got a show canceled because he was challenging the establishment. And now what have you got? He's challenging you, saying you're nuts. Good for him. I think there's a lot of problems with that guy, like in terms of, he wants a recession. It's complicated. But I do respect him for coming out and calling out this insanity. Let's see if there's any more asides. Is that it? Here we go. Here's from Nathan. A Tinder date once walked out of a second date at Hawk and Dove after calling me pro-cancer because we disagreed on whether medical companies would be incentivized to fund medical research if the government didn't do it for them. I'm pretty anti-cancer. Yeah, welcome to... Here's one from Abel. I was getting the meanest twerk at Cloak and Dagger. That booty was making my heart skip. But she turned around and was wearing a Mayor Pete shirt, so now I'm celibate. That's a joke. I can recognize a joke, and that was a funny one. I get your point. Like, I would say something like that too, right? If I had this like hot girl, she turned around with a Buttigieg shirt, and I was like, nah, get out of here. I'm kidding, right? I think he's making a joke. But yeah, why would you want to date a Buttigieg supporter, I guess? They got any more of these funny things? I guess not. Here's a quote from, I don't know this, so I'm going to skip over this one. But Ken Knight Jr., 36, agrees. He's a nanny and personal assistant who moved to the D.C. area after a few months ago from New York. He feels like the stakes are too high in the 2020 election not to pay attention. If I've gone on 5 dates since being here, 3 of the guys didn't even watch politics, he says, exasperated. It blew my mind. You live in the city. It should be the only thing you discuss. Knight says he minds less who someone supports, just that they're politically engaged. No. If this dude found out the guy he was dating was a Trump supporter, his eyes would start like flames would start coming out of his eyes, and he'd go Super Saiyan, explosions all around him, and that would be the end of it. Okay, I would be surprised if he was like, "Oh, you're a Trump supporter." Well, I'm not angry. I'm just glad you're paying attention. No, not how it works. He supports Warren, but after some thought, he says he would date a Sanders supporter. With the Bernie bro, it's always a great conversation. He chuckles. With some thought, let me consider, what are the differences between Warren and Sanders? They're like literally right next to each other. There's very little difference there. The big difference is that Warren says she's not a socialist. I can't imagine. If you think that's a chasm that can't be crossed, what would you think about a Trump supporter? I don't know, man. Y'all are nuts. So I'll wrap it up there and just say, I gotta admit, it's true. I am wary about dating many of these people, but I'll tell you what, man, I really don't care who you're going to vote for, what you think. Can we watch, like, Marvel Avengers and, have some popcorn and then, I don't know, maybe go walk by the lake or something and, let the dog off the leash? Can we do normal things? I tell you what, we're going to make some burgers. You're vegan? That's cool. I'll make you a black bean burger. I really don't care if you're vegan. Really don't care if you're a carnitarian, you only eat beef. Can we get along, hang out, have good conversations? Then we're all right. Are you going to get really, really angry when you find out that our political beliefs are slightly off base and I'm supporting someone who's a little bit to the right of your person, so you go, rah, and you walk out the door? Well, then good, leave. I don't want to hang out with you anyway. Man, people are losing their minds. Look, this is why I say civil war. I know for this story, it seems stupid, but think about it, man. If Bernie and Warren fans won't even go on dates together, like, this country is falling apart in some way, whatever. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 10 a.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out.